A very good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to your crypto breakfast. Boy, oh boy, we have seen some volatility over the weekend last week. In the weekend, I didn't really do a video update, but now it's Monday again, and we have definitely made an important progression on the chart. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Crypto Compass once again. This is your daily Bitcoin breakfast digest. So before I begin, I wanna emphasize that this particular video is going to be about day trading. I do think we are seeing some improvements or some progressions on the higher time frame, and for that reason tonight I will be doing a live stream where I'm going to cover over the higher time frames on Bitcoin, and I also would like to take a look at a few altcoins. So keep an eye on this channel. Tonight, from basically 12 hours from now, I'll be doing a live stream and bring you some more analysis for you guys on the midterm time frame and more focused on swing trading, where we can go in depth and also have some space to answer some of your questions in the live chat. So note that down and make sure you don't miss that. Now, having that said, let's basically dive into Bitcoin. For the last week, for the duration pretty much of this entire series, we have simply been ranging. This is where the series started. We have constructed the channel and subdivided it into 3 small sections. Just a little recap, because it's Monday. And let's just recap a little bit, okay? So we started off with price action going here, where initially we were looking at a channel encompassing this type of price action, right? Where at that specific time we were ranging over here. This is where the fundamentals for this technical analysis has been laid out, where we approach a chart from a scaling perspective, where we start with a small section. If we break out of this section, we would move into a larger section, and then if we moved out of this section, then we would look for either price action for an extension of that range, or if we're breaking out, we have levels below and we have levels we have levels above and we have levels below. Now, and as you can see, we have had a lot of progression for the duration of this time. For a good while, we have been able to predict and trade all the moves within that first section very, very, very successfully. Then we've broken out and went to the bottom region of that range. Personally, I have mentioned that from a day trading perspective and not from a swing trading perspective, because I am and still remain in long trades on my swing trading perspectives. However, I would have liked to see this low being taken out and slightly lower levels before we see a bigger bounce. Now, as you can see, there is always a time and place when a range ends, and now finally, after almost 3 weeks of ranging pretty much very, very, very sideways, we have now made a 10% increase over the weekend out of the channel. And that is what I'm going to talk to you about today. What levels are we going to have to expect next? Well, really interesting developments. So let me just lay it out for you and talk to you about what I am looking for today. Currently, I am flat, and that means that I'm not in a position. The reason for that is that generally I do not trade the weekends, and on top of that, it is this weekend is a national holiday weekend. So as a matter of fact, today is also a national holiday. So I won't be around on the charts too much. However, as I mentioned before, I am here to provide you your crypto breakfast. And on top of that, I'm also even going to do a live stream tonight. So yeah, let's do it, guys. I'm looking forward to it. So we have now crawl up, basically tap the bottom. I mean, now it's safe to say that, okay, yeah, we tapped the bottom region of the range. Personally, I would have liked lower. Fair enough. I also mentioned that this range has been characterized by front running the levels precisely. So many times I've accepted that fact. This time I guess I got a little bit greedy and I just wanted to see a little bit lower, right? Well, as you can see, ignoring your own statistics, never a great idea, because this could have been a beautiful low, even though this was made in the middle of the night for me, where I usually was asleep. Anyway, no time to dwell along, because we are day traders, and it doesn't matter if you missed a move or if you did not take a trade, right? It doesn't matter, because as day traders, it doesn't really matter where we are on the chart. All we can do is simply make a new plan and we can just continue from there. That's the perk of being a trader. That is why I'm never, ever emotionally affected if I would miss some kind of a move, especially not on a day trading perspective, and especially not if it's made in the weekend. Because, trading is fun and all, but just not in the weekend. Because I like to do other things. Anyway, we had a rotation where I said, like, okay, we were hovering. This is where we ended off Friday, essentially, where I said, okay, we are now hovering over here. We are getting some imbalances on the short side. On top of that mixture with being there on the midterm time frame, being at overall support, right? Seemingly kind of losing it. I would say, like, it's much more likely we're going to see an increase in price first, right? Tapping that level, which would be, on a day trading perspective, my first level of interest. Now, as we can see, that indeed happened based off of a short squeeze. Lots of people got stopped out, and this is indeed where I did take a short trade, because that was my plan. My plan was to actually enter into a short trade over here, right? And then pretty much trade it in the end to the downside, where I would be looking for a long, where I pretty much would be looking for a move similar to the one that we have had. Now, as you all can see, what happened to me was essentially I entered into the short. I entered into based off of a swing failure type of trade over here, midline of the channel, simply following the plan. And what I did, this was at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon for me. Now, my personal trading day usually ends at around 7 o'clock in the evening. It's kind of where I start to not really take on any new positions, and where I would go for dinner, for example, and just, do some journaling work afterwards to prepare for the day next. By the way, if you're interested in how my daily routine looks like in a trading day, then let me know in the comments, guys. Let me know. And who knows, I might do a video on that sooner rather than later. Anyway, entering into that position, right? But the fact that this just did not really... I got the first reaction, right? Looked great for an entry. However... it started just ranging around here and never really started dropping. So after a few hours, as you can see, this literally took already overnight. After a few hours, I actually left the trade open till around... well, what was it, 11 o'clock in the evening or something like that, when, I just came back to my screen and was like, okay, this is starting to really retrace on very low volume. You know what? It's a day trade, meaning for me that when I enter into a position, or when I want to start the day without a position, and I also want to end my trading day in a similar way. So what I did was simply close out of my trade. I wouldn't really class this as a majorly profitable trade. I made a little bit of profit, but trading wise, I would say, okay, it's pretty much break even, because I got my entry, but I did not got the reaction. So I classed it as a break even trade, even though factually I made a little bit of profits off it. Well, really nothing to write home about. And then overnight we kept on ranging pretty much, and by now it was weekend, so I was stopping to trade already anyway. So this, in the end, that discipline, and this is the point I want to make with this video, being disciplined in your trading approach, saying I'm making these videos as day trading, and then keeping that as a day trade as is, allows me to, let's say, what if I stayed short? Then this makes all the difference between making a break even, a winning trade, or a losing trade. It makes all the difference. So I would say in this particular scenario, due to the fact that I remain disciplined in my trading approach, I did not make a loss, and thus maintaining my 100% win rate so far in that regards. Did I miss out on the move? Well, yeah, I guess you could say so, but I don't really mind because it's weekend. The good thing about this is that now we do have stuff to look forward to, because we broke out and we kept on squeezing. So let me move all over and talk to you about what I'm looking for next, right? We have broken out of the channel to the upside, also taken out this high, which is pretty relevant. So that is reason number one why we're stalling here. But the biggest reason why we're stalling here is, let me just add up some horizontal levels over here. This daily being an important one while being in the range, now is invalidated, obviously, right? After hovering around the middle of the range, we had another squeeze to the upside. We stalled, simply daily level, boom, broke through, back tested, then totally disregarded this particular level, right? And this is, I'm showing you this to show you how technical analysis works. Not always every single level works, but when they do, they work very, very, very well, right? Here you can see this one worked really well. Resistance, boom, flipped in support, boom, shot through, totally ignored, right? Then again, we came to the top of the channel. We saw another low time frame reaction, which you could have traded if you wanted to, and if you were there after your computer. As you can see, small consolidation once again, and boom, broken through, now taking out this high over here, and we've closed below, and now it seems like we are getting a retracement. Now, the first question that you need to ask yourself is like, okay, is technical analysis respected? Well, we've literally just seen that the answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely. And the second question is, okay, what's the technical reason, right, why we are now having our retracement? Well, first one is we simply took out these highs over here. That's reason number one. Reason number two is that if you look at the higher time frame volume levels, then you can also see the reason why, for example, we stalled here for this amount of time, right? And that is also one of the reasons, in the back of my head, why I closed out this trade originally. It was like, okay, yeah, we are starting to, grinding back against this midterm time frame resistance, that midline of the channel, me marking that out in the streams multiple times. I think it's risky to keep that trade open overnight, because this could go up, because we are at higher time frame support. And yeah, that happened. So now we are at, I believe I mentioned this level in the very first episode that we did. We are now at the POC over here. And that is the reason why we are currently stalling over here, right? This is currently the reason why we are stalling over here. All right, so now let me talk about a few levels just below this section. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to disregard this section for now. Gonna come back to that later in a minute. I really don't want to make this video too long, so I'm gonna speed up. Levels below. Backtesting this channel, really important one. Why? Because if we backtest and get a bounce there, then you could say like, okay, we have broken out of this channel and we could potentially start making our way back to $30,000. That is one really, really, really important support level. Now, second level, that is a level to the downside. And then very big checkpoint to the upside is at that $30,000 once again. And the reason for that is we not only have a weekly level over here, but we also start to have a lot of confluence over here if we start measuring from the all the way to that high that we've made. Almost wanted to say all-time highs, but latest high of the year, pretty much. At that $31,000 all the way down. We do have here our confluence set at that 29,000 more or less 200 level, right? So 29,000 to 30,000 level, really, really massively important region. I would say 29,200, the single most important one. I would say reclaim that, and then, yeah, we the chances are pretty high that we are going to see a full rotation to the upside, right? Okay, so those are levels to the upside, to the downside, to keep in mind, to be aware of. If we start making larger moves on the day. For now, and I am meaning for the coming few hours or so, probably until the open, I am simply looking for what this retracement is going to bring us. So for now, this point of control is a good level to keep in mind for day trading, as well as this high. And the low is a matter of time where we need to start seeing a bounce, because that hasn't happened yet. So for now, I would say levels are now starting to be built up. We have this high, we have this midline of the channel, and well, for now, we have this level, which marks the top of the channel. So this, for now, for me today, for my intraday trades, this is the section I'm going to look to trade. And with that, I can remove my volume levels and keep on only the channel levels, and start simply doing my technical analysis, where I can start finding some confluence. And boom, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. First Fibonacci pool, look at that. There we go. We have our confluence here at that top of the channel. So that would be an interesting place for me to look for a potential long trade. And then, we have the point of control that I just showed. And then we again have this high where we could look for a retracement. Now, if we start anticipating on a potential move to the downside, I do have to admit, this is a little bit speculative, but you can start making your plan like, okay, where would that, let's say, golden pocket sit more or less? Is there potential confluence? At the moment, very unclear, but at least you can start making your plan in advance. So, that is pretty much it for now. So what am I looking for currently? I am simply looking for a potential range to form for today, or at least until New York Open for here. At the moment, it's unclear where we are going to bounce. It could even be here. It could even be here, and then we could range on here for a while. That at the moment is very unclear. So I'm going to simply wait for that retracement to finish, and I'm going to wait and see where we are starting to get a bounce. And that will be my definition of today's range, essentially. So overall, as we are now retracing and dropping for the day, I'm looking for the signs of getting a bounce, where I'm looking to long. If we do not show a lot of strength in that increase, I think the chances are that we stay on ranging for the day, and where I will be looking for a potential short during the range. Oh man, I wish I could just update you guys live, that would be that would be very helpful in situations like this, actually. Anyway, based on how this is going to progress, I'm going to decide whether I'm going to look for shorts at the highs. If we start getting a lot of volume, or really starting to squeeze, let's say, again on high volume, I might pass on the short and not jump in front of strength, So anyway, as we are dropping right now, I think we are going to see that backtest sooner or later at this particular level. So that will be my first checkpoint. I mean, and then finally, if we get back into this range, then I would say this was a really big fake out. We got rejected from the point of control. And then I would simply literally look for another rotation, ultimately again, to see if we can take out this low. Like I said before, final words here. Keep in mind, this is a 10% increase in price. This can happen on a single day. However, this is not very common. So therefore, I'm simply just not expecting that on the day. If it happens, it happens. And if I'm positioned in the right way, that's great, right? But I'm not expecting these kind of moves every single day. So final words here, make your plan. back it up with your technical analysis, find your confluence, and simply don't over expect. One volatile move on the day doesn't happen that it's going to go every day. So keep your management in check and don't over expect, because that will lead to either greed or fear, and that will ruin your portfolio. So having that said, hope you guys enjoyed a video a little bit longer than I actually wanted, but hey, there you go. Kind of a big move happened, so I felt it was useful to explain also a little bit of the mindset behind it. And if you want more, check out tonight's live stream. It's going to be packed with technical analysis, and I'm going to make a really, really cool announcement. So thank you for watching, and see you guys tonight. Cheers, guys.